The doctor who had been referring every Holt patient to her private clinic was waiting for Emre on the other side of the door before he had even knocked. She knew his name. She knew what he had found. And the scar on her wrist was shaped exactly like the fractures. The referral. Part 2 of 4. Emre did not go home. He went to the records room instead. He told himself he would spend 1 hour. He spent 4. The Holt name appeared 11 times in the Hallcross General system going back to 1987. 11 admissions across 3 decades. And every single one involved the left radius. He printed nothing. He photographed everything with his phone and sat on the floor of the records room with his back against the filing cabinets. His legs had stopped working in any useful sense. 11 fractures, 11 Holts, and every file, without exception, contained a discharge referral to a place called the Voss Institute. He had never heard of it. That wasn't unusual. Specialty clinics came and went. But when he searched for it, the results were thin and strange. No website, no street directory listing, no review, no article, no mention in any public medical database. Just a single reference in a 2003 Hospital Consortium newsletter, the Voss Institute accepting referrals exclusively through a curated list of approved physicians. Emre scrolled through the referrals in the Holt files. Everyone was signed by the same doctor, Dr. Lena Voss. He searched her name. She had privileges at Hallcross General. She had been on staff since 1991. He had never met her. He went to the staff directory and found her office number 3rd floor, East Wing, room 311. He took the stair. Room 311 had a nameplate. The light under the door was on. He knocked. She answered immediately, as if she had been standing on the other side waiting. She was tall, silver-haired, wearing a white coat with no hospital ID badge. Her eyes were pale gray and did not blink often enough. She said, "Dr. Aslan, I was wondering when you would find your way here." He had not introduced himself. She smiled at his silence. She said, "Come in, please. You look like you haven't slept." He stepped inside. The office was clean in a way offices weren't usually clean. No stacks of paper, no personal photographs, no coffee cup. A single frame diagram on the wall, a bridge hand-drawn, detailed with a precision that felt wrong for a decoration. He recognized the shape of the bridge. Fenwick Bridge. She sat behind the desk. She folded her hands. She asked him what he had found. He said 11 patients, same family, same injury, all referred here. She nodded as if he'd confirmed something she already knew. She said, "Actually, there are 14. You missed 3. She slid a folder across the desk. He opened it. Inside were 3 admissions he hadn't found: 1974, 1961, 1948. Each one a Holt, left radius fracture, admitted after an incident at or near Fenwick Bridge. He said, "Who are you?" She said, "I'm the doctor who has been trying to stop this for 30 years. She said it without drama, like a fact. He looked at the framed bridge on her wall. He said, "Stop, what exactly?" She said, "The Holts have died at that bridge in every generation since 1921. An accident, always in November, always involving the left side of the body." She said, "The current generation is not finished." He thought of Callista coding in room 3. He thought of Marcus vanishing from base 6. He said, "Marcus Holt is missing." Her expression shifted then. Something broke through the surface of it for just a moment. She said, "How long ago?" She stood up fast. She went to her office door and opened it into the corridor. She looked both ways. Then she closed the door and locked it. She said, "Dr. Aslan, I need you to listen very carefully. Marcus was not brought to this hospital by paramedics." He looked it up on his phone. The paramedic report for Marcus Holt listed the responding unit as Station 9. He called Station 9. The dispatcher said they had no record of any call to Hallcross General that night. He set his phone down on her desk. He said, "Then who brought him in?" She said, "Look at the intake form. Look at who signed him in." He pulled the file. The admitting signature on Marcus Holt's intake form was Dr. L. Voss. He looked up at her. She was already shaking her head. She said, "I was in surgery until midnight. I have not been in this building since 7 p.m. He held the intake form in his hand and looked at the signature and then looked at her face. His eyes dropped to her left hand, folded on top of the desk. Her left wrist had a faint old scar running along the radius. The exact line of a spiral fracture, healed long ago. She saw him looking. She did not pull her hand away. She said, "I was 19, November, Fenwick Bridge." She said, "I am the reason I built this clinic. I am the one that got away." Then his phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. It was a photograph, Bay 6, the empty bed. But in the photograph, the room was not empty. Standing at the foot of the bed, facing the camera, was a woman in a pale blue hospital gown. Her hands were flat against her thighs. Her fingers were bent wrong. Her eyes were entirely white. And across the bottom of the photograph, typed in plain text, were 3 words she found: Marcus. When Emre pulled up the personnel file for Dr. Lena Voss to verify her surgical alibi, the file listed her date of birth as November 1954 and her date of death as November 1973. That's it for part 2. Follow Untold Lores for part 3. Like and subscribe for daily stories.